Look, Uber. I'll be honest, when I make videos like this, I tend to get a lot of views. So, I mean, you know, taking lemons and turning into lemonade thing and all that jazz. But to do this to drivers twice within 24 hours, I mean, that's just evil. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur, and yeah, I've got some bad news. I've got some really bad news. You probably know what it is just by the title, but I'm going to lay it all out for you. Uber is cutting the rates again, twice in one day. And in fact, here's the kicker. In places like Chicago, not only have the rates been cut, but they are being cut additionally if you use the destination filter. My goodness, this company cannot screw you enough, can they? And you know what's really, really funny about this? I don't want to turn this into drama tube. I really don't. That's why I don't name names. But there's a couple Uber tubers from Chicago who complain about me complaining about Uber, saying how Uber's the greatest thing. You just have to go out there. You just have to accept it. And every time one of these rates get cut, I never see them bragging about it. Like, you know, if what Uber is doing with the rates is so great, why aren't you complaining about that? But I digress. Let's look over this. By the way, thanks to Driver Lady Pro for sharing this information. I mean, a lot of people did, but she sent me the screenshots that we're going to be looking over. And she's not only very supportive of most of the Uber tubers out there, but she actually goes to protests and is trying to do something to change the rideshare industry. Excuse me. So thank you, Driver Lady Pro, for stepping up and actually going out and doing some of the hard work. But let's look at what this email said. Well, it's not an email. It's in the app. And it says lower earnings on destination trips starting March 14th. And by the way, to those of you who commented that I was being unfair to Uber in my last video, or the one before the last, because I did an impromptu live stream, that no, Uber, they're not trying to take advantage of the drivers to the extent you're saying. They're not making these rate changes because they want you to drive the way they want you to drive. They want to drive. They're changing the rates because they just need to make a little more money. You know what? Everyone who believes that these changes are not being done to control how you drive for them, it's right here. It's right here. Look, we know destinations is an important feature for many drivers. Unfortunately, high usage of destinations in Chicago has increased pickup times on a number of trips. We've seen lower earnings for some drivers who are not using destinations because they need to spend more time driving to pickups. Aw, isn't that neat? Isn't that nice? Uber's concerned about the other drivers. Look. We know we introduced the destination filter to help you, and God knows, you are not an employee. You are an independent contractor. If you need to use that feature, you should use that feature. But you know what? You're hurting your fellow drivers. So we're gonna take that feature away from you, or at least make it less desirable just to help your other driver friends. Yeah, I don't believe a word of that either. I don't believe a word of that. And also, MoviePass limiting their movies was for your benefit. Now you can actually be shown suggestions of what you want to see at the movie theaters. But we don't think that you actually want to see that movie. Here are the movies we think you should see. I mean, it doesn't matter that most of them aren't even playing in your area. Yeah, no, you're doing it to save money. And in this case, they're doing it to save money and to discourage you from using destination filter, which frankly, they don't want you to use. You know, when I'm reading things like this, I kind of wonder what on earth happened to 180 days of change and beyond. What happened to the beyond part? Once they did 180 days of change, which by the way, they didn't even completely change. Some of the features they gave you, they took back. Well, Here we go. To address this issue, we'll be testing and evaluating reduced rates on destination trip in Chicago starting March 14th. How this will work. Rates will be reduced on destination trips. The reduced rates will be based on the current impact of destinations on pickup time in your area. You'll always know how much the rate is reduced before you set your destination. And by the way, they're kind of wording this like, well, maybe it sometimes won't be reduced. Yeah, no, it's always going to be reduced, or it's very rarely not going to be reduced. During the evaluation phase, Uber will evenly distribute the money from these reduced rates each week to drivers in Chicago who did not use destination and provided at least one ride in Chicago that week. I don't know what the heck that means. Let's see. We'll distribute the money. That seems like such a socialistic thing, which I know that socialist isn't a dirty word for a lot of people, but trust me, I know some of you kids are young and idealistic, like, oh, we should just help each other out, until you get to something where it's like, hey, you know what? We're going to be taking some of your money out of your own pocket and we're going to give it to other people who might not need it a little bit more. That's kind of what it sounds like, but who the heck knows? I mean, Uber will evenly distribute the money from these reduced rates each week to drivers in Chicago who did not use. Yeah, that's basically them saying, hey, if you don't use the destination filter because we don't want you to use it, you'll get a little bit of a perk, a bonus. And who knows if they'll even actually do it. Destinations may not be available if too many drivers in one area are trying to use the feature at the same time. You know what? We're independent contractors. If everyone is using it, who cares? That is our prerogative, not yours, Uber. You want to tell us when we can and can't use this thing? We're employees. Pony up the benefits, pay my medical, cover my insurance, then you can do that. Until then, screw you. I'm going to use the destination filter whenever I want. Here's an example of what your app will look like before you set a destination. The actual rate reduction may be higher or lower than 30%. So basically kind of like the upfront pricing. It can be whatever the hell Uber wants it to be. There will be no... By the way, I love how it says destination 2 remaining. Yeah, oh, by the way, you're also still controlling how many times we can use the thing. Yeah, whatever. The destination's rate reduction was taken very seriously because we know it may have a big impact on your driving experience. Don't you think? Of course. We will be sure to update you with any further changes. We will review how this change affects pickup times and overall driver earnings, but we also want to hear directly from you. Yeah, doubt it. I have given how many 1-star experiences on the app? You'd think after the 20th or 30th one, someone would call me and say, hey, Kevin, we noticed you've been giving you us a lot of 1 stars. What's wrong? But no, they don't care, and they've never asked any of us. Please provide your valuable feedback using the link below. Yeah, and why bother? It probably goes straight to the spam folder. Oh, by the way, here's asterisks because, yeah, there were 2 asterisks here. So the first asterisk was up here for rates will be reduced on destination trips. The reduced rates will be based on the current impact of destinations on pickup time in your area. You'll always know how much your rate is reduced before you set your destination. Asterisk. Rates outlined in the fare section of your partner dashboard will be reduced on the destination trips. Okay, thank you for clearing that up. I don't think you need to do that, but whatever. During the evaluation phase, Uber will evenly distribute the money from these reduced rates each week to drivers in Chicago who did not use destinations and provided at least one ride in Chicago that week. Double asterisk, the way in which these funds are distributed to drivers is subject to change. A week is 4 a.m. Monday to 4 a.m. Monday local time, and each payment will appear on the following week's pay statement. I love how it says the way in which these funds are distributed to drivers is subject to change. That is an easy way out, and just in case, I don't know how you'd find this out, but just in case someone finds out, hey, they're not giving the money to anyone, they're just keeping it for themselves, they can say, well, the way in which these funds are distributed to drivers are subject to change, and we decided this week we just weren't going to distribute them at all. This is garbage. I would like to hear anyone try to defend this. In fact, if someone tries to defend this, and I would especially love if someone from Chicago tried to defend this, please send me the link to that video. I need a dearly good laugh at this point. I mean, geez, the Melissa McCarthy movies haven't been funny for a while, so seeing someone try to defend this garbage would certainly lighten my day. And Uber did. Now, here's the thing. Right now, it's only in Chicago, and I think a couple other areas, but it's gonna go everywhere. As we get closer to the IPO, they are continuing to penny pinch the drivers. So, to really clear this up, and here's the thing, I'm not lying, folks. Uber is saying this. Uber has cut the rates twice. In both instances, they have alluded to the fact that they changed it because they didn't like the way you were driving. So they were going to change it, probably to get you to drive the way they wanted you to. And now with this, there has been a 25% rate deduction on the miles. And if you use the destination filter, there will be 30% additionally deducted from the whole thing. And in some cases, it may be more. I'd like to know what happens. Like, someone really needs to screenshot, like, if it's like, oh, this is a destination trip, it's going to be 70% lower than usual fare. I'd like to know who would take it. I mean, this is just sad. And then on top of the news that Uber wants to settle the classification lawsuit for $20 million, and they accepted it. Wow, there's no justice in the world for drivers. I mean, it's true. I will agree with this. You know what? You make of this what you must. I'm definitely, the way I'm making from it, I am not driving. It's amazing that people always make fun of me for not driving and then act like I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, well, look at what I'm looking at. You think would you drive after this? I really hope not. If you're driving after this garbage, then you do not respect yourself. I know, bold statement to make, but really, what excuse is there for this? Anyway, that's pretty much all there is to it. No funny jokes or anything, but I will at least make one little announcement. I did allude yesterday that I would start moving some smaller topic videos that did fit with the Apptrepreneur brand, but weren't super important to my Apptrepreneur Vlogs channel. That is starting today, so the link is below, and you can check those out. Otherwise, what do you think of this? Is this enough to get you to stop driving? I mean, boy, we've got another thing to talk about. I think there's definitely going to be a podcast on Wednesday, that's for certain. I would love to know, so comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, of course, but even as little as $1 a month goes a long way to helping the channel run smoothly, and you get access to my Patreon's exclusive blog. As always, flame responsibly. Have a good one. Or at least try to.